The war in Gaza has now raged for nearly 10 months, and we focus tonight on life in the occupied West Bank, where Palestinians must navigate IDF checkpoints and frequent threats of violence from right-wing settlers. Since October 7th, IDF patrols and arrests have led at times to deadly clashes. In tonight's Prime Focus, Tom Soufi Burridge reports from the occupied city of Hebron, where alleged IDF abuses have come to light.
Assalamu alaikum. Nice to meet you. Sabah khair.
Issa Amro is a Palestinian human rights activist living in Hebron in the West Bank with a sprawling view of the old city.
You have all of this for a reason, right?
Yes.
This is protection.
It's the best view without the fence.
The fence is one of Amro's few protections. He says he's had run-ins with right-wing settlers, his neighbors, who threatened him.
And he came here with a gun. He was very happy to show his power. He went around, he pointed the gun, he said, I will shoot you whenever I want.
That incident allegedly happening just feet away from a military outpost.
In spite of the presence of the soldier, I was attacked many times.
And they do nothing about it?
They do nothing about it. I'm afraid during the night to stand here. I feel they may shoot me. They pointed the laser on my body. This is the Palestinian house.
ABC's Patrick Reevell first met Amro last year when the IDF had parts of Hebron under lockdown in light of the October 7 attacks.
Everything is closed, not only closed, fear. People are so afraid, so terrified about their safety. Many families left.
Months before, an Israeli soldier was caught on video, assaulting him, kicking him on the ground when he was with a journalist from The New Yorker.
Leave him!
The IDF jailed the soldier for 10 days. Since then, the tension and fear haven't let up. Amro says he's a target in his own home, and he's had to come up with alternative ways to try and find safety.
So this is my window.
Concrete stones in front of your windows?
Yes. So if they shoot, it will not get in.
So is that to protect yourself from the settlers?
From the settlers and the soldiers.
And the soldiers?
I see them the same now.
His own security cameras showed a soldier in November walking onto Amro's property, threatening him, he says, and stealing.
This is your property?
Yes, this is my house here. This is my yard. You see, he stole the GoPro. Then he told me that he will come to kill me on the night. Then the CCTV cameras, which was damaged by the soldiers, he stole them.
Part of Issa's struggle as a Palestinian living in the occupied West Bank can be encapsulated by what happened to him on October 7, when he says he was taken from his home and interrogated by soldiers for 10 hours.
This one, they used on October 7th to gag me, like this.
That very piece of cloth?
This one.
Right.
I'm keeping it as a souvenir, like this.
The Israeli military told us Mr. Amro had not filed any formal complaint of alleged violence by soldiers, and the IDF accused him of being involved in illegal disturbances in the area. Hebron remains one of the most restrictive cities in the West Bank. The IDF often limits access to certain roads in order to separate the more than 200,000 Palestinians who live there from the roughly 800 Israeli settlers with military outposts like these.
Did you get on with some of the local Palestinian people? Have a good relationship?
Not much.
No?
They don't trust me. I don't trust them.
Violence in the West Bank is the worst it's been in decades. Since Hamas's attack on Israel on October 7, the IDF says it's conducted over 200 operations in the West Bank, eliminating over 500 terrorists and claiming that more than 1,700 people they've arrested are associated with Hamas. Palestinian officials say Israel's operations have killed 140 children in the West Bank and Jerusalem since October 7. And while Israel argues the raids are necessary to prevent terror attacks, the US State Department investigated IDF conduct in the West Bank and concluded 3 Israeli army battalions did commit gross human rights violations against Palestinian civilians prior to October 7. One of those units was Netzah Yehuda, a unit comprised mostly of ultra-Orthodox men. This video from 2019 allegedly shows a group of its soldiers abusing and beating 2 blindfolded Palestinian detainees. An Israeli court convicted an officer and 5 soldiers for their role in mistreating the 2 Palestinian men.
So this is Linsey Center.
Yossi Levy's organisation represents soldiers, past and present, from the Netzer Yehuda battalion, who served in Judea and Samaria, which is how they refer to the West Bank.
Is religion and faith a big part of the battalion, the unit?
Yeah, of course.
There seems to have been a pattern
Right.
of abuse, of sometimes alleged torture.
Netzer Yehuda battalion was in Judah and Samaria 7 years. It's too complicated to deal with civilian people in Judah and Samaria, to deal with thousands of operations, success operations, by the way. So sometimes you have bad events.
But bad events are sometimes deadly, like one fateful night in 2022 when 78-year-old Palestinian-American Omar Assad died while in the custody of the Netzer Yehuda battalion. Mamdouh Abu telling us he and Assad were arrested at random as they drove through the village.
بدهم يعملوا معه نفس اللي عملوه معنا بس ليليتها فيش أي مشاكل فيش أي حدث أمني فيش احتكاك بيننا وبينهم.
Abu demonstrating the position Omar Assad was allegedly held in by the soldiers before he suffered from a heart attack and died.
أجا الجندي ضربني من هان اطلعت يمين شمال أنا شفت عمر على الأرض أنا قربت عليه حطيت إيدي هان عليه وعرفته ناديت عليه ما حدا بيرد حطيت إيدي هان أفحص نبض عنده ما في نبض.
The IDF said the soldiers violated a core value of protecting human life. 2 of the commanders involved were suspended from their positions for 2 years. And after the unit's misconduct came to light in 2022, Netzer Yehuda was redeployed out of the West Bank. But alleged abuses haven't ended with that unit. Just last month, soldiers from another battalion tied Mujahid Abadi, an unarmed and injured Palestinian, to the front of a jeep. The IDF said its troops had violated orders and standard operating procedures during a counter-terrorism operation.
We are seeing this kind of incidents in every unit that is sent to occupy the Palestinians.
Some Israelis, like Ori Givati, a former tank commander, are working to highlight alleged abuses by the IDF in the West Bank. He says the problem is the occupation itself.
When you occupy millions of people with the military, you go through a process of dehumanization of those that you're occupying.
Many Israelis will say, wait a minute, soldiers operating in the West Bank are constantly threatened by being attacked, and they're working in very, very difficult circumstances.
They are. I was there. I was working in these circumstances. There is definitely a threat to soldiers, to settlers, to Israelis on a daily basis. Occupying the Palestinians for almost 57 years now, is that helping our security? Militarily occupy them, invade their homes, disperse their protests, build settlements on their lands? Maybe that is something that is creating a lot of hostility, and we should change course.
I don't understand that they see me as an enemy. I'm not a security threat to them.
Do you think about leaving?
I'm here to resist peacefully the inequality, the injustice, and try to give hope.
Our thanks to Tom Soufi Burridge for that.